Opportunities are coming to Salt Lake City real estate. If you're interested in living here in northern Utah, we're going to talk about everything you need to know about the current state of the market here for Salt Lake City, Utah, as well as the entire Wasatch Front. Whether you're looking to the north or to the south, we're going to cover important information that you need to know about if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. What's going on, you guys? My name is Cody Steck, your favorite Utah realtor. If you're a first-time viewer here to the channel, I want to welcome you. I talk about everything you need to know about what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, and play here in Utah, as well as real estate here in the area. I'm a real estate agent, and if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, I'd love to be your person of choice. If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate, please reach out to me, call, text, or email anytime. My information's here on the screen. I love hearing from you guys. I've had hundreds of people reach out to me, and I cannot wait to hear from you who's watching this video right now. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump on my screen. I want to show you some very important information. Like I started off the video, there are opportunities coming. I'm going to talk about some different things here in this video that is going to be a opinion that maybe differs from the rest of the market. You may be watching other videos out there on YouTube. Some people are saying, hey, the market's crashing, the world is burning, and everything's going to crap. And then other people over here are saying, no, the market's great. It's fine. Interest rates are coming down. Everything's going to be good. Just buy the home. You'll never get a better price, but you can always refinance later. I'm seeing tons of information out there, and I might just be one of those other voices, right? So what my goal is with this video is to just give you my opinion on the topic. You can kind of take it for what it's worth. You can agree with me or disagree with me, but at least take this information, combine it with the other information you're hearing out there, and kind of draw your own conclusion and come up with the decision or the conclusion that makes the most sense for you personally. I want to talk about interest rates. I want to talk about home prices, and I want to talk about real estate specifically here in Utah. So we're jumping to my screen here, and we're going to start off taking a look at the 30-year fixed mortgage rates, right? So this is here on Mortgage News Daily. This shows you how the interest rates have changed over over a given period of time. If we actually come back here, let's go back to like 2015. From the time I got in the business, I actually got in right here in like 2000, about halfway through 2014. So I've been doing this for almost 9 years. And I got into the business here in 2014 when interest rates were roughly 4%. We saw those rates hover around 4%, down into the high 3%, up to 4%, down to 3%, all the way up to 4.5%. We saw the rates kind of fluctuate in this range for a very long time. We hit high 5% in 2018 before falling all the way down here to about 3%, and then even lower into 2020 and 2021. And just look at how the rates have spiked since that time. So I want to actually zoom in here. We're going to come back here. We're going to jump in all the way and look at just roughly the last year and a half. So January 2022 is when everybody started noticing, hey, inflation is out of control. We have to slow this down. The federal government stepped in and they started making changes to rates. This is when rates started climbing. The market was still in a very hot spot because people are thinking, hey, if I can buy a home, whether I pay 3% or 4%, that's still pretty dang good. It wasn't over here until about April or May when we started to see people really change their tune and start to back off. This is when rates were still climbing. They went down, they went back up, they went down, and now they're sitting at roughly 7.25% to 7.5% according to this Mortgage News Daily. You are going to see some interest rates that are going to be higher than that. You'll see some that are lower than that. It really depends on what type of loan you have, what your credit profile is, and what type of borrower you actually are out there in the market. Sometimes you might be quoted at like 8%, or you could be quoted at 7% depending on who you talk to. The important thing I want to point out here, if we zoom in a little bit further, let's go right here, you can actually see that this time last year, interest rates also hit a relative high, right? We were sitting here at roughly 5% in August, and we climbed all the way up to about 7.25% in October this time last year. Then rates fell down, but they've been mostly steady in this like 6 to 7% range, except for right now, interest rates have just hit basically an all-time high, at least in the last like 23 years, here in September of 2023. So rates are going up, and that is going to cause downward pressure on prices. So let's actually jump over here and take a look at the market. So this is the market for the UtahRealEstate.com. This basically covers the entire portion of northern Utah real estate, as well as a lot of southern Utah real estate and the rest of the rural areas, right? This is going to be our main source of data for what we're looking at here. If we come in here and take a look at this sales information, this time last year, we were seeing prices. So this is July 2022, August, September. This column right here, this is listed under median sold $. That's median sales price for dollars, right? And you've got July 507, 500, 490, 490. You can see that this starts to fall as we go into the winter months. Then prices came back on very strong, 480, 475, 490. hitting just under 500,000 for the last couple of months. So right now, prices are in the same position that they were this time last year. And so what do you know? Interest rates were almost in the same exact spot. So I do think that we'll probably see even more downward pressure going into the winter this year because a couple of things have changed, right? Interest rates, we now know, are going to stay higher for longer. That's what the federal government has told us. They've stepped in and they've basically indicated the futures market is indicating that interest rates are not going to be coming down for at least one full year. And I think that's actually pretty accurate. If you go back and watch some of my videos from 6 months, 9 months, 12 months ago, I was saying, hey guys, interest rates are climbing and I think it's actually going to be a while before they start to come back down. I saw lots of mortgage brokers, I saw lots of real estate agents out there pitching, saying, oh, it's fine, you can get a rate buy down, you can buy down your rate for 1 year or 2 years, and interest rates are going to be coming down going into the back half of 2023 once inflation cools off. Well, the reality is that did not happen. These things take time, and it takes a long time for these things to basically kind of work their way into the economy. I think everybody was overly optimistic about rates coming down just because inflation came down. And that's just not how it worked, right? The economy was still very, very strong this past year. And we're still seeing, the signs of that. Interest rates, yes, are at higher levels, but people are now willing to pay higher prices. And I think, there's just so many people who are too optimistic about the market and what was going to happen to it. So I was talking about this like 6 months ago saying, I don't think so. I think it's going to be at least 2024 before we see any rate cuts. And at this point, that's looking like it's going to be true. I think it's actually going to be the end of next year before we see any interest rate cuts. And even then, I don't think we're going to get back down to the super low numbers that we saw before. We'll probably get back down to like 5%. 4% is probably a maybe. Maybe if the economy really slows down, we go into a recession, people lose their jobs, we might see rates at like 4%. I don't think we'll ever get back to 3% unless something catastrophic happens in the next, let's say 3 to 5 years. I could be totally wrong. I mean, nobody saw COVID coming. Nobody saw a pandemic or the shutdown coming. So that can't, totally came out of left field. So you never know for sure. That's just kind of my personal belief. I think that we'll probably get down to 5%, but that's going to take like roughly a year, maybe even 2 years to get to that level. And that's only going to bring us back here to where we were here in April to, let's say August of 2022. I think this is a reasonable range. It's a healthy range. It allows the economy to still grow, but it doesn't put it in a position where it's so restricted due to these extremely high interest rates where everybody's just hurting. Because right now, what's happening is cost of living is up, inflation is up, and now people are faced with these high interest rates where they're paying high interest rates on their credit cards or their student loans or their car loans or their house loans, and they're just paying tons and tons of interest. And the people who are profiting on this at the end of the day are the banks or the people that already have money and are not subject to these higher interest rates. So with that being said, the people that I'm seeing buy homes right now are people who are in very good financial situations. They've got down payments. They're in a position where they've got a high income, or maybe they're paying cash entirely and they don't really care what interest rates are because they're not affected by those numbers. The people who are selling homes are generally people who are motivated to make something happen. They have to sell their home because they had a death in the family, or they are going through a divorce, or they just need to move for a job, or maybe they need a bigger home or a smaller home. People are moving for a reason, and that's what's really driving this market. I want to jump back over here and take a look at the number of sales, because this is really important too. You will hear lots of headlines saying, oh, sales are down, prices are down, the world is burning. But again, looking at the data, that's just not true. Sales are still happening. March 2023, we had 3,300 home sales, 3,000 right here, 34, 3,000, 3,355. So over the last 6 months or so, yes, it's fluctuated up and down a little bit. Of course, some months are busier or slower than others, but home sales are still happening. Of course, it's not what we saw back in 2021 when the market was crazy. People were buying, people were selling, and this is when we saw 4,000 to 5,000 home sales every single month. Things are slower right now. Yes, sales are down, but prices are still very strong and homes are still selling relatively quickly. This last column right here shows you the median days on market, right? So days on market is sitting roughly 20 to 30 days. And I think that's actually a pretty healthy range, right? It actually gives you a good overview of what prices actually are. If you're a home seller, I wouldn't be worried about that at all. Just expect that the home's going to sell in a couple weeks rather than just a couple of days like it was the last couple of years. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to reach out to me if you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. I want to be your trusted real estate resource of choice. I want to build trust through these videos and show you, hey, look, I'm here to kind of give you my advice, but also just give you my opinion. And sometimes you might be in a position where it makes sense to buy or sell, or maybe it doesn't, right? It all depends on your financial bottom line. And I want to help you through that process. Whether you buy something or sell something right now, or you do it in 6 months, that's okay. I just want to earn your business along the way and be there to help you when you get to that point. My information will be here on the screen. Please call, text, or email anytime. And with that being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one.